Well, it's 6 o'clock. We should probably get started. Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us this evening. We appreciate your time and your interest in the project. What I'd like to do is bring up our meeting agenda, and I'll just run through that real quick. And then we'll go back through and go in more detail on the discussion items that we have for you this evening. So the purpose of this meeting is to share information about the Southeast Area Pump Station project. Then we'll talk a bit about that, project team introductions next, and then talk about the meeting format that we've set up. Then we're going to do a presentation for you, and we'll get into some more of the details of the project. And after that, there will be an opportunity for Q&A, questions and answers, and any comments that you might have with respect to the project. So starting at the top of the agenda again, the purpose of the meeting is to share information and answer any questions that you might have related to the Southeast Area Pump Station project and pipeline project. This is in support of a forthcoming land use decision. So we're submitting a Type 2 conditional use permit application with a minimum design standards review to the City of Bend. Although this is a City of Bend project, the engineering division is managing the project, and we'll be submitting a land use application for the pump station site plan and other work that's going on with the project probably next week. So we're doing this meeting as required by the city in advance of that. So then I'd like to do project team introductions. My name is Jeff England. I work for Parametrics. We are a sub-consultant to Sladen Constructors, who's the design builder on the project. So I'll be doing most of the presentation this evening, but I've got others on that are working on the project with us and are going to be able to answer questions and provide feedback and input, that sort of thing. So that's who I am. I'll turn it over to Alex to introduce yourself, and then Niall.
Yeah, hi everyone. Thanks for making time this frosty evening to attend. I'm Alex Doza, and I'm with the City of Bend, and I'm managing the project on behalf of the city. Niall, you're muted.
Got it.
Yep.
So thanks, again, Alex and everyone else. My name is Niall Boggs. I'm the design manager for Parametrics. Again, we're working for Sladen Constructors and the city here for this progressive design build project. And yeah, looking forward to getting our design complete and getting this project underway.
Yeah, great. Thank you both. Okay, so a little bit about the meeting format. This meeting is being recorded via MS Teams, and we'll submit that recording along with our application as proof of or confirmation of this meeting. So as I mentioned, we're going to make a presentation. Sorry, I lost my agenda there now. Thank you. So what we're asking you to do then is to just place all your questions and your comments in the meeting chat, and you can do that as we go along. And then at the end of the presentation, rather, we'll circle back to those and make sure that we answer those questions and respond to those comments. So having said that, let's go ahead and jump into our presentation, starting with Exhibit 1. Great. So what we're looking at here is an overall basin map. This is the majority of the southeast area plan, which you're probably all familiar with. The bold black line, the thick black line is the basin that the pump station and the gravity and force mains are going to serve. So all the properties within that black boundary are going to be served by this project directly. Starting from the north on Ferguson Road, we'll be constructing gravity line to the south through what's known as the North Peak development, and then through the 39-acre LLC parcel out to an existing right-of-way along the west side of High Desert Middle School. Then it'll head east from there in an existing right-of-way to the preferred pump station location. And that we went through an alternatives analysis looking at different pump station locations. Cities decided that's the preferred location because it serves more area in the basin than any of the other locations that we had looked at. And then from that pump station, we'll pump back up in that very same alignment that I just described. And we'll tie a pressure force main into a short section of gravity pipe, but ultimately it ties into the Ferguson gravity line that was just constructed. So we're going to be utilizing that pipeline right away. And then lastly, on this map, there's a proposed gravity sewer line that extends to the west along the southern portion of the basin that will extend out and serve properties in that area as well. So that's the extent of the project. Let's go ahead and move on to the next exhibit, unless Alex, Niall, feel free to jump in if I missed anything as we're going along here. So this map, we're kind of zooming in a little bit. This is the Bend Lapine School District property. You can see High Desert Middle School on the left side, which is the north side of this map. Decided to present this map to you because it really shows some of the work areas that we're contemplating at this point in time. Now, we've been in close communication for several months now with Bend Lapine School District. This comes as no surprise to them, but I can't say that we have a complete easement established as yet. We have ongoing discussions with them. We're confident that this is what we're going to end up doing, and so that's why we're presenting this to you here tonight with that disclaimer. So what you're looking at in the kind of the light blue shading area, starting at the top of the legend there in the top right of the map, that's the pump station site that we're going to be designing and constructing the sewer pump station on. That kind of purple shaded area is just an access easement to the pump station on the school district property. The two green areas, shaded areas that you're looking at, those are proposed construction staging areas. So this is a big project. It takes a lot of big equipment and a lot of material, pipe and backfill material and lots of other things, equipment that goes along with the pump station, et cetera, et cetera. So we need a sizable area to stage all that equipment and those materials. And so that's what we're showing here in that green shaded area. So those, I did want to point out that that square shaded area on the bottom part of the map, we've coordinated with the school district, and eventually there's going to be a new elementary school in that location. So that's kind of the background that you see there, some ball fields and a building, parking lot, et cetera. That's just a concept at this point in time, but we're coordinating our efforts such that whatever clearing and grading that we do now it's within that footprint of that future facility. So it's actually beneficial in that regard to the school district. So I wanted to point that out. Next exhibit. So zooming in even further now, we're at the pump station location. And what you're looking at is our site plan that we're going to be submitting as part of our land use application to the city. And so access to the pump station for maintenance vehicles will come off of, well, first of all, off 27th to South Diamondback Lane, but the main entrance will come off the existing bus loop, which is basically a driveway that comes off of South Diamondback Lane. So most of the site will be paved to support operations and maintenance vehicles when they're there working at the pump station. We're showing fencing around the pump station. We're showing preliminary grading and landscaping. So we'll have a landscaping screen all the way around the site. We're showing the pipes essentially coming in and out of the pump station, gravity and pressure sewer lines, as well as an Avion water line that we're going to need to run in there to provide service to the pump station site. So the orange kind of circular area down at the bottom, that's the pump station itself. It'll be below grade. In the upper right, black bold outline is a building that contains equipment, controls, et cetera, to control the pump station operation. It's got a chemical room in there for inducing odor controlling chemicals and other things there. So that is the site for the pump station. And then let's take a look at the building elevations that we have so far. So the building itself will be a CMU block wall. We're anticipating, what we've talked about so far is doing something similar in architectural style to the school itself. Since it's located on the school property, we thought that would probably be the best fit. So yeah, we're looking at the different elevations and the heights, the respective heights of the roof for the building, is roughly 10 feet on the low side and about almost 15 feet on the high side, just to give you a sense of the scale of the building itself. So that's all I have for the exhibits. One of the things that we wanted to talk about as well, well, let me pause for a second. Niall or Alex, do you have anything to add to that?
Thanks, Jeff. No, not really. The only thing I would add is, and I think you glossed over it, is just so everybody understands these, we're at about the 30% plan level right now. So, these are subject to change as, we learn more information and moving forward. So
Yep.
Probably
Thank
not
you.
significantly, but just so we're aware.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I
We've
guess
still go ahead.
just a couple features I'd like to note just about the pump station. So this will be a 6-foot high chain link fence with some vinyl privacy slats. Of course, some sort of vegetative buffers. The only other kind of above ground feature, most of this stuff will just look like a flat square concrete or a flat circle of concrete. But this generator is it's a backup generator for the pump station that's next to the building. So that's the only other above ground feature, but again, it'll be behind some fence and vegetation. So won't be a whole lot to see from the road. Right.
And we don't expect much in the way of trip generation. There's not going to be much traffic to this. It's fully automated. There will be times when operations and maintenance personnel and vehicles show up on the site to do work, but it'll be pretty infrequent. So there won't be much in the way of traffic generation. at this site. One of the things that I wanted to go through are some of the anticipated impacts of the project. So first of all, I've got a couple of positive impacts for the project. So this is a significant step toward reaching the community's overall vision for the Southeast Area Plan. We think that this, putting the sewer in, that seemed to be the big challenge that all of the folks that have property out here that are looking to develop, and including the school district and others, that was the biggest hurdle. And so the city stepped up and decided to expedite this project, move it to the front of their CIP, capital improvement plan. And so here we are moving forward with that. It accommodates future elementary school and other development in the area, as I mentioned. Other impacts are there's going to be tree removal associated with the construction easement areas. And so we looked at some of those areas, and we could go back and take another look at that at the school district. I think that's, yeah, that one. Thank you, Niall. But those areas that are shaded in green or highlighted in green, most of the trees and the vegetation on those sites are going to need to be cleared to allow for the vehicles and materials and equipment that need to be used in order to construct this project. So there's two different areas. Most of the pipeline, we think the pipeline work will probably take place from the upper, which is on the bottom part of the screen here, and the pump station construction equipment, vehicles and so forth are going to be on what's on the upper part of the screen there. We're trying to minimize traffic across the Trans-Canada gas line that runs right through there. There's two large diameter, high pressure natural gas pipelines that run through there. We're working closely with TC Energy to make sure that our crossings of their existing pipelines are done safely. And part of that discussion is to minimize the amount of construction traffic that goes over those pipelines and actually reinforce the temporary crossings in some regard. We haven't worked through all the details on that, but we are working through that with them right now, just FYI. Okay. We're expecting minimal noise, dust, and traffic disruptions, primarily due to the construction location. It's really not adjacent to any existing densely populated areas, so that we're expecting those impacts to be minimal. All of what we do is going to be in accordance with the city's ordinances. So we're aware of that, and we'll make sure that we abide by those regulations. Impact mitigation. So let's talk about how we're going to mitigate those impacts. So all of those temporary construction areas that we looked at will be hydro-seeded with native grass and plant blend. Significant trees around the perimeter will be saved. So we'll identify those. We've surveyed every tree out there, every significant tree out there, significant being 8 inches or greater in diameter. We've surveyed all the trees. We know exactly where they're all at. And so to the extent we can with some of those significant trees around the perimeter of those construction areas, we will protect those. We'll put orange netting around them to the city standards to keep equipment and things off of those. But that'll be pretty much limited to the perimeter of the site. But many trees remain on the overall site in the big picture. So we talked about noise and dust. One thing I'll mention is that construction will happen during regular work hours and days on this project. We'll apply water as needed to keep the dust down. And as I mentioned before, we'll maintain compliance with the city's ordinances as far as those things go. There are a couple of businesses in addition to the school that we're going to need to work with in terms of making sure that we maintain access to them at all times. So there's the veterinarian's clinic and the pet resort. And so we're talking with those property owners. At least we've given them a heads up that this project's coming and that we'll continue to coordinate with them and work with them. Yeah, thanks, Niall. And to maintain access. So we'll come up with a construction staging plan that allows us to construct segments of that pipeline. And provide access from the other direction while one area is under construction, and then flip things around and change the access back the other way. So we've already started thinking through how we might accommodate that. Okay. So the current construction schedule is slated for July of this year, so mid-July through October of 2025. That's where we're at currently. That's always subject to change too, depending on a variety of factors, but that's what we're planning for right now. So I've said a lot. Alex, Niall, if you'd like to chime in and add anything, please do so.
Yeah, I don't have too much more to add on the project. I think you've described it pretty well. I would say if anyone has any questions to type them into the chat. We do have everyone muted. Just it's the kind of the best way to run a public meeting. So yeah, appreciate any questions to the chat, or you can also follow up with Jeff or Linda Swearingen or myself with any questions. So we got a question here from, looks like Sarah Moss. Is the construction related to the pump station only? No. So, and I think I saw you jump on a little bit late, Sarah, but there's, there is the pump station, but it needs gravity sewer pipes, which are going to start up here, feed down through some future rights of way. Into some existing rights of way and down to the pump station, same coming in from the east, and then the gravity flow will come into the pump station, then it actually gets pumped all the way back up into the Ferguson sewer. So the construction will include all of these pipelines in addition to the pump station.
And just to piggyback on that, for clarification, the pipe that's in right of way is not included in the land use portion of this requirement, if that makes sense. So just for purposes of, if you see the application, it's only going to include items on private property. So, but the construction, correct, will be what Niall just explained. So there's that nuance to it.
Yeah, and then we have another question here from Jerry Jones. Do you have all the easements procured that would be required? And if not, do you see this as a risk to starting in July 2024? Jeff, do you want to field that one?
Sure. The answer is we do not have all of the easements that procured right now. And I would say that right-of-way acquisition is always a risk to these projects. So we're, it's fairly typical, but to answer your question, yeah, it's potentially a risk. If somebody decides to hold out and they don't want to dedicate right of way, then that's a whole other situation. We're not thinking that's the case. We've been in close communication with everybody here, but you never know. So we'll continue to work through that, Jerry, and try to get the easements in place as soon as we possibly can.
And then there's another question.
Yeah,
we
I was
have,
gonna mention Sarah.
yeah, so we have another question from Sarah. What street is the east-west line, the green line? So right now there is no name for it. We're referring to it as Local J. If we look at the South City's Southeast Area Plan, there's certain designations for the different roadways that are planned through here. And this one is planned to be a local street, which is a narrower street than like this Collector A here is a bigger, wider street. So it doesn't have a name yet. There is an existing right-of-way that goes through to this point here. And then this heading west across the Sandrowski properties, that's a planned extension of that right-of-way that developer is planning. But for right now, this street doesn't have a name. And I guess technically this little tiny portion of it is actually referred to as Diamondback Lane. There's only a small portion of existing roadway that just comes in here to the school's bus loop. But this is also the existing road up here is called Diamondback Lane. So it's just a touch confusing on that, but it will likely not be called that in the future. So hopefully that answers your question.
So
We started calling it South Diamondback Lane. I don't know if that's right, but it helps us keep them straight.
Yep.
Maybe another question coming in.
No, looks like just thank you. So yeah, thanks Sarah for the questions. Appreciate the interest.
Anything
the city
else?
also has a website, so everyone knows that has contact information and some frequently asked questions. And so
Yeah, it looks like we've got a question that just came in from Jim Gutman. And will the Hayden Homes development be running concurrently with this project? So the Hayden Homes project is here. I'm not exactly sure on their schedule off the top of my head, but they are reliant on sewer, so they need to hook up to sewer to make their project work. So there's a chance that they may. The one that I know is going to be kind of in that same time frame as ours is the North Peak development, and so Hayden would probably follow them, but depending on where they are in their land use process and all that, it's really going to drive that. So
last time we spoke with Hayden Homes, and it's been a while now, so things could have changed, but I think there was going to be at least some overlap between the projects. So I would expect that, but again, maybe they push their project out. I'm not sure, but there could be some overlap for sure. Anything else? I'll just reiterate what Alex said is that, check out the city's website. There's FAQs and some information on there. But right now you've got the latest, greatest information that's available. I'm just stalling a little bit here to see if anybody else wants to add a comment or ask a question.
and we will plan to have another public open house closer to construction. So you should see some more outreach as the project progresses.
Good point. Right. Yep. Well, thank you, everybody. I appreciate you joining us, at least virtually, on an icy night. hopefully everybody gets home safe and sound. So I think that's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah. Thank you, Jeff. Thanks, Niall. Thanks, everyone.
That was
Well, that was good. It's still being recorded, so we can jump off and I guess it'll,
careful what you say.
I don't know, I'm assuming it'll download and go to Linda or you or something.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks. See you, Alex.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye, Jeff.